We've all been told a story, a grand narrative woven into the very fabric of our reality from the moment we first took a breath. This story tells us that our greatest aspirations, our deepest desires for purpose, for connection, for abundance, are prizes to be won at the end of a long, arduous race. We're taught to chase, to push, to strive against the current of circumstance. We've been programmed to believe that the value of our harvest is directly proportional to the sweat on our brow, the struggle in our soul, and the sheer force of our will. This is the paradigm of the physical, a world where the measure of a human being is their ability to overcome. And so we enter the great arena of life, prepared for battle, braced for a fight, assuming that our journey is meant to be a test of endurance. But what if the entire premise is flawed? What if the universe operates on a completely different set of rules? A deeper, more fundamental truth whispers to us from the quantum realm, a reality where creation isn't born from force, but from a state of being. Here, the struggle that we've been taught to revere is not a prerequisite for success. It's a form of resistance. The universe isn't a relentless adversary to be conquered, but a boundless field of infinite potential waiting for a coherent signal. The paradox is profound. The more a desired outcome requires our genuine alignment, the more our conditioned minds instinctively try to complicate the process. Why? Because the ego, our inner architect of identity, has learned to find its worth in complexity. If the breakthrough came too easily, it must not be real. So when we encounter the elegance of quantum alignment, a state where effortless synchronicity replaces forceful action, we subconsciously reject it. We build elaborate spiritual structures around it, turning a simple act of knowing into a rigorous checklist, a demanding ritual, or a relentless pursuit. We create noise, forgetting that the universe is not waiting for our exhaustive plan. It's responding to the frequency of our being. We've been told, if you want it badly enough, you'll work harder. But the quantum field doesn't respond to desire, it responds to certainty. It's not a cosmic vending machine that requires a specific number of coins, efforts, to dispense a prize. It's a vast mirror reflecting back the precise frequency you are emitting. The moment you are deeply convinced that something must be difficult, that belief itself becomes a wall, pushing your desired reality further away. The field isn't testing your strength, it's matching your vibration. Think of your inner world as a celestial orchestra. The more doubts, contradictions, and narratives of unworthiness you hold, the more your orchestra is out of tune. This creates a fragmented signal, a chaotic dissonance that cannot resonate with a clear, harmonious reality. Let's bring this into the language of the soul. There is a state of being that ancient mystics and modern physicists alike have called coherence. It's the unified, harmonious state where all parts of your system, your thoughts, your emotions, your energetic body, are vibrating in sync, amplifying each other's influence. This is the source of all authentic power. When your inner world aligns, even the smallest intention can ripple through the field with monumental effect. Your consciousness in this state becomes a powerful beacon, a coherent signal that influences the very fabric of reality without any need for pushing, forcing, or manipulating. But coherence isn't something you achieve through effort. It's something that arises from clarity, and clarity is born from the gentle release of clutter, the mental noise, the emotional resistance, the unconscious stories of struggle. This resistance is not your fault. It's a legacy of a system that taught you worth comes from earning, safety from control, and outcomes from relentless effort. And yet, time and time again, the most miraculous moments in our lives, the unexpected encounter that changes everything, the sudden flash of insight, the perfect opportunity that falls into our lap, happened when we weren't trying at all. In those moments, you were simply open, receptive, and resonating with a higher truth. The field responded. That wasn't luck. That was quantum alignment, and it's trying to happen for you right now. But first, you must dissolve the belief that struggle is the only path. Let's be absolutely clear. The simplicity of the quantum field is not a synonym for passivity. This isn't about spiritual bypassing, nor is it a call to inaction or a lazy waiting for magic to fix your life. Simplicity, in this context, is clarity. It is energetic precision. It is the natural, effortless byproduct of a deep and unwavering alignment with the frequency of your desired reality. In the language of ancient wisdom and modern physics alike, simplicity is a state of coherence. and coherence is the undeniable signature of all-powerful creation. In the old classical paradigm of survival, we were taught that force produces results. Push harder, move faster, exert more pressure. That's how we were trained to survive. But in the quantum world, energy obeys a different law. It flows through the path of least resistance. Contemplate this truth. Energy does not choose the hardest route. It does not reward struggle. It seeks the opening and moves with elegance, speed, and fluidity. This means that in the quantum field, trying harder often creates more resistance. Conversely, relaxing into a state of deep alignment opens the floodgates. I want you to ask yourself with brutal honesty, how often do you complicate your desires? You visualize a new reality, a vibrant timeline, and within seconds, the mind begins to swarm with static. How will this happen? What if I'm not ready? What if it's too late? That isn't clarity. That's a chaotic broadcast, a disorganized chorus of fear and doubt. And what does the quantum field respond to? Frequency. A frequency cannot be chaotic. It must be coherent. Simplicity is not the absence of thought. It's the mastery of thought. It's the moment you stop asking if your desire is possible and begin living from the place where it already is. Coherence, as a principle, is when all parts of a system are in perfect harmony. The same frequency, the same rhythm, the same singular intention with no contradiction and no conflict. When your thoughts, your emotions, and your inner knowing are vibrating in unity, your entire being becomes a magnetic beacon, a singular signal that the universe has no choice but to reflect back to you. But for most of us, our inner world is a state of incoherence. We might say, I am ready for a great love, but our hearts are vibrating with the memory of past wounds. We declare, I am abundant, but our emotions are steeped in the fear of scarcity. This is not alignment. It is a profound fragmentation. This is why simplicity is so powerful. It dissolves contradiction. When you simplify your inner world, you remove the clutter. You stop needing to understand every step, to prove your worth, or to analyze the how. You focus completely on the what and the who. What reality do I choose? And who do I need to become to match that reality? That's all. Everything else is a distraction. And distraction keeps you vibrating in confusion, which keeps your desires at a distance. Imagine you are tuning an ancient radio, a device that picks up signals from distant stations. As you turn the dial slowly, you hear only static, a harsh fuzz of noise. A voice flickers in and out, a song you can almost recognize. Then, in a moment of stillness, you hit the perfect frequency, and suddenly, the music comes through, loud and pure. That's what it feels like when your inner state achieves coherence. The station was always there, broadcasting your desired reality. You just had to tune to it. But simplicity requires something most of us are afraid to give up: trust. It demands that you release the addiction to control. You don't need to micromanage every detail. You need to align your signal. Because the truth is, most of your desired realities are already broadcasting, waiting for you in the field of all possibilities. But your complexity, your need to force, to overthink, to micromanage, is creating a wall of resistance. It's like standing on a cliff's edge, building a fence between yourself and the horizon. Simplicity is not weakness, it's mastery. So, how do you begin to embody this simplicity? You start with stillness. You give yourself permission to stop the chase. You allow your nervous system to feel safe without constant motion. Then you choose the version of you that already has the desire, not as a fantasy but as your new identity. You speak from their frequency. You walk in their stride. You make decisions from their state of being. You become that version now, fully and without hesitation. And the universe, bound by the law of quantum resonance, must respond. Remember, complexity is a symptom of doubt. Simplicity is a sign of trust. The more you believe it has to be hard, the more you will create a hard path. But when you realize that energy flows where alignment goes, you stop doing more and start being more. You align, you receive, and you finally see that the universe was never holding anything back. It was just waiting for your signal to become clear. In the vast and intricate language of quantum mechanics, there's a word that fundamentally redefines how we understand the process of creation: coherence. Coherence is when multiple elements, particles, waves, or systems come into perfect alignment, functioning not as isolated fragments, but as a single harmonious entity. When this state is achieved, energy becomes focused, powerful, and directed. It doesn't scatter. It doesn't get lost in the noise of a million competing forces. It creates outcomes that are consistent, reliable, and potent. And this, at its core, is what makes manifestation effortless. It's not because you're sitting back and doing nothing, but because your inner energy is finally unified and laser-focused. Let's zoom in for a moment. Imagine the neural pathways of a chaotic mind. Each thought is a particle vibrating in its own direction, colliding with others, dispersing energy in a million different tangents. That's what an incoherent system looks like. Noisy, inefficient, unfocused. Now imagine those same neurological patterns suddenly synchronizing, moving in harmony, aligning with a shared rhythm. What happens? The energy intensifies. The system begins to self-organize, and the outcome becomes not only predictable, but also powerful. This is what happens inside your consciousness when you achieve inner coherence. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your physiological state vibrate as one. But here's the challenge. Most of us are deeply incoherent. We may consciously desire one thing: wealth, love, peace. But our subconscious and emotional signatures tell a completely different story. Our hearts are filled with fear, our bodies are in a state of stress, and our deepest beliefs are rooted in scarcity and doubt. Our actions, of course, follow that emotional signature. We might say, "I believe in abundance," but we live in a constant state of panic about bills. We declare, "I trust the universe," but we obsessively seek external validation, needing proof every step of the way. This is not alignment, it's an energetic civil war, and the quantum field, which operates on resonance, not on the words you speak, reflects that incoherence perfectly. The field doesn't listen to what you say, it listens to what you are. Now, here is the game-changing insight. Your manifestation isn't blocked because you're not doing enough. It's blocked because your signal is fragmented. You're sending mixed frequencies into a field that only mirrors back coherence. And so, to the field, your energy says, "I want, but I don't believe. I hope, but I don't feel worthy. I ask, but I don't allow." This is why manifestation feels difficult, because incoherence is a noisy, weak signal. It dilutes your power to collapse a specific outcome. But when you simplify, when you clean up the noise, everything shifts. Simplicity in this context means agreement. It means choosing one frequency and sticking to it. It means your inner world stops debating with itself. Your thoughts become crystal clear. Your emotions become a calm, flowing river. Your body stops operating in survival mode. This trifecta, mind, heart, and body, becomes a coherent field. And that's when the quantum responds. Not slowly, not someday, but immediately, because your reality is no longer resisting itself. This is the science behind why less truly is more. Not because you're doing fewer things, but because every movement of your energy becomes exquisitely precise. You no longer take 5 steps forward and 4 steps back. You no longer waste precious energy in mental loops, emotional turbulence, or physical burnout. Your life becomes elegant, efficient, aligned. You stop trying to manifest and begin being the manifestation. And the moment you embody it fully, the quantum field reflects that embodiment with staggering speed and precision. In neuroscience, the concept of coherence also applies to brainwave states. When your brain is operating in high beta, it's a state of stress, overthinking, and survival. Your brain waves are scattered, but when you drop into alpha or theta states, the states of deep relaxation, visualization, and intuition, your brain waves become more synchronized. This synchronization enhances your ability to influence the subconscious mind, which is the direct gateway to the quantum. In other words, coherence is not just a spiritual principle, it's a measurable physiological state. When you stop overthinking and start aligning, your entire being receives the signal that you are safe. Your nervous system regulates, your heart rate stabilizes, and your body enters a physiological state of allowing. In that state of coherence, you become a portal for creation. You are no longer forcing your future. You are allowing your timeline to catch up with who you have already become. By now, you may be feeling it, not just as an idea, but as a subtle shift in your body, a change in your breath, a stillness in your field. There's a resonance moving through you, a quiet click that says, "Yes, this is the way." And this sensation is not by accident. It isn't just motivational fluff, it's vibrational confirmation. Because the truth is, quantum manifestation doesn't arrive like a lightning strike. It whispers through alignment. It arrives as a recognition, a deep remembrance of a truth you always knew. You didn't stumble upon this message by coincidence. You were drawn here by frequency. Something inside you, maybe long before your conscious mind caught up, already knew it was time. Time to stop forcing. Time to stop chasing. Time to stop believing that struggle is a prerequisite for receiving. The universe has never required that of you. It only required your coherence, your clarity, your willingness to let it be simple. And that is the final shift. To stop intellectualizing creation and start becoming the frequency of it. Not as something you turn on occasionally, but as a baseline, a way of being, a default vibration. Let this be your anchoring truth. I allow it to be easy. Say it again. Let your body soften into it. This is not laziness, this is quantum intelligence, this is how nature works. A tree doesn't force itself to grow, it simply allows the flow of energy. The cosmos doesn't expand by pushing, it expands by being in harmony with itself. And you too are part of that same quantum intelligence. You just forgot, but now you remember. And if this message has stirred something deep within you, if it felt like more than words, if it activated a knowing inside your soul, then this is not the end of our conversation. This is the beginning of a profound dialogue. It's a dialogue you will have with yourself, and one you can have with our community. The real truth is you are not broken. You are not behind. You are not late. Everything you have asked for is already in motion. Not because you forced it, but because you are finally matching it. And the more you relax into this alignment, the faster your life begins to reflect it. You are no longer chasing, you are aligning. And that shift changes everything. So, as we close this conversation, take one final deep breath with me. Inhale gently, exhale, and let go of the last remnants of control. You don't need to manage the details. You don't need to repeat the request. You don't need to struggle. You just need to become. I want to extend a final, heartfelt invitation to you. If this message resonated, if you're ready to make this truth your new reality, please consider subscribing. It's a warm invitation to a community of observers dedicated to mastering this art of effortless creation. In the comments below, I'd be deeply honored to hear your story. Share your quantum revelations, the moments when you let go and saw a reality shift. Tell us what challenges you've overcome by surrendering to ease. And if there's a topic you want to explore further, a question you have about becoming a more coherent observer, let me know. Your curiosity helps shape the journey for all of us. Until next time, stay light, stay aligned, and remember, you were never meant to struggle to receive. You were meant to resonate and allow.